Hello, I'm Jeremy. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a game by the name of Draftosaurus. This is a relatively light, almost a filler game, maybe a children's game. It plays between 2 to 5 players in about 15 minutes or so. The box says ages 8 and up. It's published by Uncommon Game. It has 4 credited designers. And it is a game where players are going to be drafting dinosaur meeples and placing them into different paddocks in their dinosaur park, trying to optimize their scoring. It's a really simple, really quick game. I'll take a few minutes to show you how it plays, and then I'll come back and let you know what I think about it. So to play Draftosaurus, each player is going to be given a dinosaur park, and you can see it's divided into several sections here. And broadly speaking, there's a few ways that it's subdivided. There are forest sections, there are grassland sections, these 3 sections here. Then if you look down here, there's a park, or a side of the park that's on the restaurant side, and then a side of the park that's on the bathroom side. So that's essentially how this board is divided up. And these areas are going to score by putting dinosaurs into them in different ways. I should also mention that the board is 2-sided. This winter side has entirely different scoring capabilities. I'll just explain this side for right now. And essentially this is going to be a drafting game where players are going to be drafting these dinosaur meeples. I have some in this cup here. You can see they are in 6 different colors, and they'll be put into these various areas. So you can see up here, this one wants them all to be equal, so you'll fill them in from left to right. You'll get points for if you have 5, for example, you'll get 18 points, whereas this one wants them all to be different, so you'll need one of each species to fill this section up. This one here just needs you to have exactly 3 in here for 7 points. I'll note in the rulebook it says 6 points, but it says 7 on the board, so we've been playing with 7. And then this section down here, you want pairs of matching species. They'll each give you 5 points. Over here, you want one and only one Lonely Heart dinosaur. If you have only one here, you'll get 7 points. And up here, there's one dinosaur that if you have more of it than any other player at the end of the game. So if you put, like, for example, a T-Rex here, you have more T-Rexes than anybody else, you'll get 7 points. There's also a area down here. It's a dumping ground. This river, you can put dinosaurs in here for 1 point each. That's if you can't fit them into one of the other areas. And there's a bonus at the end of the game for having T-Rexes. Every paddock that has at least 1 T-Rex in it will get an extra point. So those are the red meeples. So that's essentially how you're going to score. And again, like I said, there are different scorings on the back. These are slightly more complicated, but nothing too crazy. Essentially, that's how you're going to score. The way the game is played, it's played over 2 rounds with 3 or more players. The game plays up to 5, so like I said, each player can get one of these. And what will happen is each round there'll be somebody who holds the die. So let's say this player holds the die, and then every player will take out of the bag. There's a bag of those dinosaur meeples, 6 of those dinosaurs, and you're supposed to keep them pouched in your hand and not show any player them, and just pick one and put it on your board. I find it easier to use some small cups. Maybe you could use a coffee mug or what have you for each player. It just is easier to pass this around than just to try to keep them secret in each other's hands as you're passing it. That's just a little awkward, I find. These are taken from my copy of Dice Town, but any cup would do. So like I said, each round one player is going to have the die, and they're going to roll the die, and this 6-sided die has all different pictures on it, and that's going to create a placement restriction for the other players. This player here who rolled the die, they don't have that placement restriction, so they can put any of their dinosaurs from their cup into any space, whereas the other 2 players, in this case I've rolled the bathroom side, so like I said, it's divided into 2 sides here. There's a bathroom side and a restaurant side. They'll have to place it on the bathroom side of the river. So in this space, or this space. The other things that are on the die are the restaurant, so just the other side of the river. This is basically placed into one of these 3 desert areas here. So, and then there is a forest, which is the opposite, placed in one of the other 3. And then there are 2 other special areas here. The first one is, this is to place where you do not yet have a T-Rex. Again, T-Rexes are red. So if there is no T-Rex in an area, you can place into it. If there already is a red T-Rex in that area, it means that you can't place into it. You can place a T-Rex into an area, however, so that is legal if there's not one yet. So any area without a red meeple there at the start of your turn. And then last but not least, actually that's this one here. And then last but not least, I'm sorry, this symbol here is place into an area that doesn't yet have a dinosaur. So anyone that's entirely empty. So anyone that's empty you can place into, and the other ones place into any that does not have a T-Rex yet. So that's pretty much it. So this player, they roll, these players all have to follow that rule, so like they won't be able to place in the bathroom side. Maybe this player places one here, this player places one here, and then maybe this player chooses to, take a T-Rex and put it in up here. And then once every player has done that, then what you'll do is you'll pass the die, and everybody sets of dinosaurs. And this is where the cups come in handy. Then this player will get to roll the die, which will give a restriction to these two players. So this player can place anything anywhere, so maybe they would add to their collection of green here. This player has to place on the cup side of their thing, so they're trying to collect blue, they could get another blue. And then this player over here, they have to do something over here. Maybe they could start working on one of their pairs of romantically linked dinosaurs. So maybe they would put the red dinosaur down here. Then this player would get to roll, and these would all pass again, and so on. So this is basically going to go until all 6 of the dinosaurs that people have drawn have been placed. Then essentially all that's going to happen is you'll refill. Everybody will draw 6 more dinosaurs, and you'll do another round just like that until at the end of the game everybody's placed 12 dinosaurs into their park, and then you'll just go area by area and score up. Whoever has the most points is going to win. So the like I said, the other side of the board does have some other restrictions. This one, for example, you have to alternate 2 different types of dinosaurs. So you can do like red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, all the way across, that sort of thing. Here, you want to create matching pairs on the opposite sides of the river. So you want to have like a red dinosaur here and a red dinosaur here, that sort of thing. There's just different things. Like here, a pyramid, you just can't do the same color adjacent to one another. You get points on your successful completion of that. So you could play either side. Again, this is considered, I guess, the advanced side, but this is completely reasonable to play on too. I think probably the best way to play would be to do this side once, and then do the total score. Whoever has the most points combined would be the winner. That's an official variant, actually, in the book, and for how quick this game is, I don't think that that's too much to ask. So that is how you play Draftosaurus. Okay, so that is Draftosaurus, and when I first got this game, I was a little bit surprised to see that it had 4 credited designers, but once I played it, I began to understand why that might be the case. I think that it's a good example of what happens when a game is very well developed, in the sense that it has taken its very core essence and boiled it down to that. They've stripped out a lot of rules that could be here, and what you get is a very simple game of just drafting and point optimization that has a lot of decisions for the amount of time that you're going to be playing the game. I think a good point of comparison for Draftosaurus might be King Domino. It's a game that similarly plays in about 15 minutes or so, but you feel like you've made a number of reasonable decisions in that point of time. There's a couple of different ways that you could go about trying to maximize your points in that game as well. So I think if you like a game that plays as quickly and as cleanly as King Domino, this might be one for you to check out. It's certainly a good family game. Kids are going to love the dinosaur theme, and having the coming with like 50 or so dinosaur meeples is really a good level of production value for the game. I think that the rules are super straightforward. It's nice that there's a variant board included in the box for a game like this, because otherwise I might want to gripe a little bit about the longevity, but here you have 2 essential variants that you can play. So for a game that's in this price point, targeting this audience, and plays it this quickly, it's, I think, really a bit of a home run. As a filler game for gamers, I think it'll work well. There are interesting amounts of tension that you're going to get, since you're blindly passing the dinosaurs around. If you're creating pairs of dinosaurs, you either may be passing the other mate, that hoping it comes back around to you, or you may hope that in one of the other players' groups of dinosaurs, that mate is just waiting to make its way to you. So, like any game that involves drafting, with fewer players, you're going to have more of a sense of control. At 2 players, there's a variant where you essentially take one and toss one and you play over 4 rounds. You just essentially draft 3 dinosaurs each round for 4 rounds and throw some out each time you draft one. Which I haven't played at 2 players yet, but I imagine that works reasonably okay. But maybe you have a little bit too much control over the game. Whereas with 3 players versus 5 players, 5 players is going to be a lot more chaotic. Of the 6 dinosaurs that you start with at the start of the round, you're only going to end up seeing one of them at the end of the round. Whereas with 3 players, obviously you see those same dinosaurs more quickly, so you have a better chance of a dinosaur making it around you. That's goes without saying perhaps, but it's, I think, a different game at a 3-player versus a 5-player player count because of that. But at any player count, I think that's fun. It plays very cleanly and very quickly. You can play badly, which is nice for a family game. If you try to gamble and stretch yourself too thin. Again, remembering that you're only going to be drafting 12 dinosaurs, you might have your plans blow up in your face. So, all in all, I would really recommend Draftosaurus. It's a really cute little production, fits in a nice little box, and it's a game that I imagine any family game group or game group that likes light fillers would really enjoy. Those are my thoughts on Draftosaurus. Thanks for watching.